Hello, my name is Alhaji Irbad Ibrahim from Ghana in West Africa. And today on the African debate, as part of our program in the interest of humanity, I ask a simple question. Why do African leaders, politicians, whether presidents or ministers, but especially presidents, why do African leaders travel to the West to seek medical treatment when we invest a lot of the taxpayers' money in uplifting our own medical facilities on this continent? And I credit my findings in this short piece to a very fine gentleman called Tahiro Azaviele. Tahiro Azaviele did a piece on medical tourism, where he made some startling revelations about African presidents. He's an assistant professor of strategy. So I ask, every now and then, when budgets are read in national assemblies or parliaments, the legislature in various African countries, we hear of lump sums of money being spent in terms of public healthcare delivery or the construction of hospitals here and there. But the question is it that our doctors are not good enough to take care of our presidents? So our presidents will have to travel to our former colonial masters for treatment in times of health crisis? Or is it that these hospitals, we are told, a lot of the taxpayers' money is pumped into, are not equipped with the necessary state-of-the-art devices to be able to take care of the health needs of our presidents? We need to start asking these questions, because when you travel to the West for treatment, inadvertently, you are communicating to them that the independence we fought for wasn't a worthy struggle. You are communicating to them that we are supposed to still play second fiddle to them and continue to rely on them. And this gentleman who wrote this piece catalogued a number of precedents that would normally shun their own local hospitals, whether in Azerbaijan or in Zambia, from A to Z, of all the African countries we have, and travel to usually former colonial masters. Countries that are Anglophone, you would find their presidents travel to the UK to seek medical treatment. And countries that are Francophone on the continent, you would find their leaders travel to France to seek medical treatment. The subliminal message you are sending these people is that, well, we struggled for independence. Some forebears of this continent paid the ultimate price to give us independence. But the current leaders we have are telling our former colonial masters we aren't ready, or we were not ready for independence when we asked for it. What does it take to treat a headache? What does it take to treat a president that is feverish? What does it take to carry out a surgery? What does it take to fix the kidney of an ailing president? So much so that African leaders would always have to travel to the West for such, basic treatments. Surgery should be basic. Why do we spend so much money to train our doctors? And some of these doctors travel to, these Western capitals to seek education, to come back home. Why don't we patronize them? Why do we have to fly expensive, flights, first class or business class, or even for presidents, of course, they fly on private jets at the expense of the taxpayer just to go for a little checkup? Can't you do that checkup in your own country? I am speaking to you now, wherever you are watching me in the world, from the Republic of Ghana. Our own presidents and vice presidents would travel to Western capitals to seek treatment. So every now and then we read in the papers that our current president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has traveled to London in the United Kingdom for a medical checkup. Or his deputy, the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has traveled to the UK for treatment. It doesn't end there. Other African leaders do the same. I'll share a few of them with you. Nigeria's president, Muhammadu Buhari, regularly travels to the UK for medical treatment. The president of Benin, Patrice Talon, underwent surgery not in a Beninois hospital, but in a hospital in France. Former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, someone we hold in high esteem in terms of standing up for Pan-Africanism, would regularly travel to Singapore for eye treatments. Former president of Angola, José Eduardo dos Santos, used to travel to Spain for treatment. Is it that Angolan hospitals are not good enough? Ghana's president, just as I indicated, President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, would travel regularly to the UK, whether for a checkup or a treatment. So is it that Nigerian hospitals are not good for Buhari to go to the UK for treatment? Beninois hospitals are not good enough for Patrice Talon to go to France for treatment? Is it that Zimbabwean hospitals were not good enough for Robert Mugabe to be traveling to Singapore for eye treatments? Is it that Angolan hospitals were not good enough for Eduardo dos Santos to be traveling to Spain for treatment? Or is it that Ghanaian hospitals and doctors are not good enough for President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Mahmoud Bawumia, to be traveling to the UK for medical treatment or checkup? And then some African leaders actually died, not in African hospitals, they died in Western hospitals while seeking treatment. Levi Mwanawasa of Zambia died in France while he was seeking medical treatment there. Malam Bakai Sanha of Guinea-Bissau died in France. Mele Zenawi of Ethiopia died in Belgium while seeking medical treatment. And Omar Bongo of Gabon died in Spain while seeking medical treatments. And for some of these African leaders, they would go seek treatment in Western capitals only to come home and pass away. Former president of Nigeria, Musa Yar'Adua, had gone for medical treatment in Saudi Arabia. He returned to Nigeria and died in Abuja. And Ghana's former president, Prof. Mills, had returned from the US for a short medical treatment when he passed away in Accra. So the question is it too difficult to understand how a syringe operates, so much so that an African cannot inject an African president? Is it so difficult to understand anesthesia, so much so that our doctors can't carry out a successful surgery in a theater? We need to start asking these salient questions. Because if our African leaders don't lead by example, if they don't patronize in the so-called hospitals they say they spend our tax money on to refurbish and equip with state-of-the-art equipment or gadgets or devices, why would I want to seek surgery in an African hospital? The very man on top who says he spends so much of my money to provide me good health care has no confidence in our doctors and hospitals. He has no confidence in our healthcare delivery, runs away to a Western capital every now and then for treatment. How much confidence can I have as an African to repose in our own doctors and hospitals to patronize local healthcare delivery? Let's urge our leaders, and we are doing so in all humility and modesty, that at least let's see you go for medical checkups. Let the cameras follow you as you patronize local hospitals. Let's see you and your families patronize local content in terms of healthcare delivery, then we would have the confidence to also beat our chest in pride and say that our doctors that train in Cuba are good enough to take care of us. Our doctors that train elsewhere in the world are good enough to take care of us. Say no to medical treatment and checkups by African leaders abroad. Say no to medical tourism. Let's urge our leaders to seek medical treatment here on the continent of Africa, because the best is what you can get while you are surrounded by people who love you. The best medical treatment is what you can get when you do so in your own home country. Thank you, and I hope this helps. Bye-bye.